Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Josie's Point of View, where we focus on human interest stories from the Carolinas and beyond. Today's Wednesday and it's September the 8th, 2021. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, I'd like to extend to you a warm welcome. Thank you for coming by. I hope you find the information on this channel to be informative. And if you're a return viewer, by all means, thank you for coming back. You know, I always say that the tide changes so frequently on these YouTube streets, so you need to stay on top of things and you need to acknowledge where your support comes from. And I want to tell you in advance, I thank you so much for your support. Please feel free to like and to share this video, and if you haven't done so already, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel and offer me an opportunity to grow, and I thank you so much in advance. And our story today comes from the city of Asheville here in North Carolina. Take a look at the headline. And it reads, former North Carolina judge gets 2-year sentence for sexually assaulting 14-year-old boy. I'll provide you with a summary here, and as always, I'll place links to a few of the full articles in the description box. And today we're talking about this man. His name is Daniel Ray Green, age 67, and he's a former Superior Court judge in Catawba County. And the key word here is former judge, because he's not a judge anymore. It was reported that he had been a judge in North Carolina for over 35 years, and during that period he also served as a Superior Court judge. He also had a private practice where he focused on personal injury, wills, and estate law. And he was such a well-respected member of the community that in 2018, the North Carolina Bar Association noted his devotion to the community and recognized him as Citizen Lawyer of the Year. And that appeared to have been a very honorable recognition. Well, on August the 16th of this year, he was sentenced after he pled guilty to sexually abusing a 14-year-old boy. And this is what we know about the case. It dates back to an arrest in a motel back on March of 2019. And according to a report on that specific day in March, police responded to a local hotel in Asheville, North Carolina, after being notified that a sexual assault had taken place. And the report said that the police arrested the judge after it was discovered that he had been there with a 14-year-old boy who he had forced to participate in some specific type of sexual acts. The reports say the boy was well known to the judge, but they did not indicate in what way. And that is understandable because they always try to protect the identity of these young victims. But this assault was not conducted by a stranger. It was someone who was familiar with that child. And according to reports, the judge had taken the boy to the hotel. He gave him alcohol, he watched pornography with him, and then the judge engaged in some type of specific sexual behavior with that child. The child escaped by pretending he needed to get ice for the machine outside of the hotel room. And once he was outside the room, he texted a close friend and then he called his mother, and it was the child's mother who contacted the police. And of course, he was arrested by the Asheville police and charged with 2 felonies and 2 misdemeanors. Some of the charges included there was 1 count of first-degree statutory sexual offense with a child under the age of 15, 1 count of disseminating offensive material to a minor, that's for the pornography he had him watch, and then there was another charge of giving alcohol to a teenager. When he appeared before a judge, he was told if found guilty, he could probably face life in prison, but nonetheless, the judge released him on a $75,000 bail. And I'm sure the months that followed, and I guess it's almost just a little over almost 2.5 years following his arrest. I'm sure that time period was met with numerous plea discussions because obviously this judge was going to make sure that he did not have to spend the rest of his life in prison. So before he could go on trial, the judge entered a plea of guilty, not surprising at all. And in August, which was last month, he was sentenced to almost 24 months in prison. When he is released, he will be subjected to another 6 to 8 months of supervised probation. He must pay restitution of just about $3,700 to the victim for hospital expenses. Now, that's a bit shocking. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And he must also register as a sex offender for 30 years. But the judge was also directed that he be permanently barred from practicing law. Now, after the sentencing, the district attorney released a statement saying that the verdict demonstrates that the former judge was not protected by his privilege and that he was held accountable for his actions. Well, I don't completely agree. And I'll tell you why. The district attorney and the sentencing judge should have sent him to jail for much longer time. This is someone who sat on the bench for over 3 decades and probably sent hundreds of people to jail for similar crimes. There should not have been any leniency in this case. I have seen men who were convicted for simple drug offenses get a much harsher sentence. And all they were doing was hurting themselves. They weren't hurting anybody else. To me, this sentence was just a slap on the wrist because we all know he's not going to spend 2 years in jail. He'll probably be on the streets in about 30 or 60 days. This judge knew better and his actions were deliberate. He took that child to the hotel, have him consume alcohol, had him look at pornography, and there was only one objective in mind, which was to molest him. And the outcome could have been much worse. Thank God the young man was smart enough to get out of there and to summon help. And the amount of compensation seems a bit shameful to me. All they were doing was trying to pay for his hospital care, but what about his emotional distress? I hope the parents or the young man is able to bring a separate civil suit and to be appropriately compensated. But as I always say, parents, keep your children close. Don't trust them with anyone, and I do mean don't trust them with anyone. And you need to maintain those open lines of communication so that if something was to occur, you would be the first to know. And that's all I have for you right now. Feel free to leave me a comment below and let me know what you think about this video. And by all means, feel free to like it and to share it. And if you haven't done so already, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel by clicking on that red subscribe button. It's on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And if you click on this notification bell right here, you'll be the first to know whenever a new video is uploaded. I thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.